It says on your website that almost half of your clients aren't even vegan. So what do you think the attraction is there?
A delicious, tasty product.
I'm Dalia Colón, and this is the Zest. Citrus, seafood, Spanish flavor, and Southern charm. The Zest celebrates cuisine and community in the Sunshine State. Today, she's baking her way to the top, one plant-based cake at a time. When it comes to baking cakes, most of us reach for the same ingredients. Milk, eggs, butter. But Sira Garib says you can have all of the flavor with none of the animal products, which is great news for her customers, many of whom are vegan or have dairy allergies. Sira is the founder and CEO of Pure Vegan Cakes, which specializes in custom plant-based cakes, cupcakes, and cookies. Originally from South Florida, she has baked for some pretty big names, including actress and vegan influencer Tabitha Brown, an encounter that Sira credits with taking her business to the next level. Sira stopped by the WUSF studios to explain how she got her start baking for friends and family, including her adorable daughter, Kalia, who has been a guest on this very podcast. From there, she became South Florida's go-to plant-based celebrity baker and developed her own line of baking mixes. She will tell us all about how she did that, and she'll offer advice for baking a better cake at home.
My name is Sira Garib. I am a vegan celebrity cake artist and the owner of the brand Pure Vegan Cakes.
Oh my gosh, how cool is it that that's your actual job?
It's pretty cool because it's a very niche area, especially my background, culturally speaking. My family is from Trinidad. I was born in New York. So I pretty much have Googled this. I think I'm the only Indo-Caribbean vegan celebrity baker.
Oh my gosh, that is so specific. I love it. And I'm sure it's a lot more work than it just sounds like. And we'll get into that. Okay, so tell me a little bit about how you got into this. Where did you grow up? And what was like a typical breakfast, lunch, and dinner for you as a child?
So my family, as I mentioned, is from Trinidad, which is in the Caribbean. We're West Indian. And breakfast, to be honest, growing up as a child, definitely I think it was more American. So I would have cereal, but the other part that I would have, which is really traditional, I would have toast, but I would dip it in my tea. I would have Lipton tea. And that was such a traditional thing to do. And I never realized it until I got older. Dinner, we would eat traditional Trinidadian food. A lot of it is vegetables, and we would have a typical dish is a roti, which is it's kind of like pita bread, and you would eat it with the vegetables. So sometimes you would have pumpkin, and you would eat it with that, or you would have beans, stewed lentils. So my dinner was always a traditional Trinidadian meal.
You're making me hungry. And then when did you go vegan? Was it gradual or was it just like overnight? Cold turkey.
So I actually went to a strict vegetarian diet for about 20-something years. I stopped eating all meat, eggs when I was in high school, and my biology class, I had to dissect a pig. It was a done deal. I came home and it was a done deal. Like I couldn't smell anything, but growing up also on some of my cousins, they were also very strict vegetarian, and I would always enjoy their food. And even as a child, I was not fond of meat. Like I would stop even 6, 7 years old sporadically. I wasn't a kid that had to eat it all the time. I would actually be the only one in my house that would just say, no, I'm not eating this. And so since high school, when I was about 15, I became a strict vegetarian. Up until you can say a little bit before having Kalia, my daughter. Yeah. So we were eating a lot of vegan products and also because, like, for instance, I didn't do eggs, so I didn't do regular mayo or anything. I would do vegan mayo. So we were really like borderline vegans for so long.
Wow. Okay. That's about where I am. Borderline vegan. I like that term. And then what leads you to start Pure Vegan Cakes?
Definitely my kid. After having Kalia, that was a turning point. we didn't eat, as I mentioned, eggs. And I used to think about where am I going to have like cool cakes for my kid? And we would only be able to get cakes from Whole Foods. So one thing I always enjoyed was baking. So I would bake cakes like on the weekend, but I did not know anything about decorating. It's just, take some icing if you had it and just plop it on. So my husband got me basic decorating cake classes for a birthday gift. And this was the first year I had Kalia, I believe, around then. And it was so cool. I went and took these like 5-6 classes. They would show you how to hold a piping bag, how to do very basic things, how to level a cake. And honestly, that became the beginning of where pure vegetarian and vegan cakes was our business name. And then we went into straight vegan because very quickly I dropped all dairy.
Yeah. Okay, so the reason we keep bringing up your daughter, Kalia, is because she's actually how we met you.
Yes.
We interviewed some folks at Solid Rock Community School in Tarpon Springs, which serves all vegan food in the cafeteria, and she came bouncing in like the most adorable little thing we've ever seen. And she's your only child, correct?
She is my one and only.
Is your husband also vegan?
Yes. Yes,
Okay.
We are a vegan family. Yes.
All right. So how do you go from, I feel like there's this leap people make from baking cakes for family and friends to, oh, this could be a business.
Yes. So at that point, I started just doing some cakes for friends and family once I did my basic cake decorating. And after that, I said, you know what? There's a need in this community. There's nowhere we can really find pretty or nicely decorated cakes. So I opened this business from home.
Where were you living at the time?
West Palm Beach, Florida. So I'm originally from South Florida. So I opened the business and started doing, vegetarian cakes. And the way we transitioned was the type of customers I kept getting. I would get customers who have high dairy allergies, who have all types of mixed allergies. And I really wanted to serve them. I had a passion to figure out how do I create a cake that they're gonna enjoy. A lot of them were coming where they haven't eaten, a good cake in so long. So I started experimenting within that 6 months of opening my business, completely veganized all my recipes, and we became pure vegan cakes.
Oh, I love that. Now, at first you were vegetarian in vegan cakes, but like somebody listening is going, aren't all cakes vegetarian?
No, not at all. No.
So tell me about that.
So vegetarian, depending on the term, especially like our background for West Indian cultures, vegetarian means that it doesn't have eggs, but it may still have dairy.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And when you are in the plant-based vegan space, that gets really confusing for them because they're like, well, if you say vegetarian, does that mean it have eggs?
Okay.
It's really so because of that type of confusion also. And, once we veganized our recipes, I was like, that's it. We're taking out the word vegetarian.
Okay. I love that because to many of us, vegetarian just means it doesn't contain meat. So yours have no animal products, no dairy, no butter, eggs, milk. Okay, so what are the secrets to making a great tasting vegan baked goods?
Honestly, there's a lot that goes into it. I can't just tell you, there's ingredients such as, you may see out there using flax seeds and using applesauce and tofu and banana. To start with, I tell everyone, and I hope it's still around, there's this brand called NRC. It's an NRC egg replacer, and it's so easy. It will tell you use 2 tablespoons of this equals 1 egg if you're trying to convert a recipe. When I started, I used to use that a lot, and your cakes come out amazing. I don't use that now since I have different recipes for different cakes. I don't do any of those substitutes, actually. But that is actually one that I do recommend that would give you great results. Also, baking is a science. One of the little things I'll share with you, for instance, is our oven temperatures. Like sometimes you think you set the oven at 350, and as soon as you open that door, you lose like 5-6 degrees. I always recommend having a thermometer inside the oven because a lot of times you think you're putting your cake in at 350, and by the time you open that door and close it, it is not 350.
Good point.
So now your oven's starting to warm up and rise again, but you lose that time. So if you put a cake in thinking, oh, it's going to take me 20 minutes. Well, for the next 5 or 8 minutes, your oven is trying to get back to that temperature, and that ruins your baking. That causes your cake not to rise. So there's a little bit more into baking a perfect cake that goes into it. It's not just ingredients, but it's the how and those little things.
Yeah, these are fundamentals that are true across the board, whatever you're baking. We've mentioned a couple times that you are a celebrity cake baker. I've seen pictures on your Instagram and on your website, you with like Tabitha Brown and Dwayne Wade. So I don't know what other names you're at liberty to drop, but who are you baking for and how did these relationships come about?
Well, first and foremost, I'll tell you, I think it's just God that put me in the path to be able to meet these phenomenal celebrities. The first big name and the most, I think, one of the biggest opportunity to change pure vegan cakes for us was doing Tabitha Brown's cake. And she came to Miami for an event. This was for her 43rd birthday. And I knew we wanted to meet her. And when I say that opportunity and that day was like the whole opening the gates type of deal for us, I was extremely nervous. My husband is my biggest supporter, who really motivates me and pushes me. And he said, no, let's bake. I was trying to coordinate a birthday cake because the day before was her birthday, Tabitha Brown. And I didn't get the confirmation from the event planner, like who was planning the event. So my husband says, no, let's just bake it. Let's bake it. Let's do it. Let's go.
Just show up.
We bought tickets to attend.
Okay, so it was like a book signing or something or a talk?
It was just a talk. It was a dinner and a talk. And so we came up with the design for her cake. My husband came up with the Donna design. I did the 43rd diamond and tried to incorporate so much, and the crown. So the crown on the cake was symbolic because she had just promoted the Dove Crown Act. So we showed up with the cake, and there was a lot of people. And we have the chance now to walk up and approach her. And my husband's like, take the cake. Take the cake. It's a feeling of, oh my God, like I was enough and I made it here. And okay, I'll try not to get emotional, but it was that type of moment, and it was real. It was she is so real.
Yeah.
Exactly as you see her online is the way she is. And she really became such an idol for me. So to meet her, have that opportunity, it was the beginning of the celebrity journey.
Oh my gosh. Oh, I love this. What is the lesson there? Because I think we've all had those moments in our life where we see the moment. We're like, this is the moment. Like my son plays soccer and we'll be shouting from the sidelines, shoot the ball. You're open. Now is the moment. And so you shot the ball right at the right moment. You went up with that cake and it changed the trajectory of your career. So what is the larger lesson there?
Go for it.
I love that.
Just take every opportunity that comes in. And that's something I did do in my journey. I always take any opportunity that was thrown at me. And but that moment, I think my husband definitely gave me that extra push. But after that, I never hesitated. Any moment, we met Tiffany Haddish. I took the cake, went up. Like it was just, every moment now, I just show up. I show up with the cake and whoever I have, and I just go for it. I go for it. I don't let that little bit of fear or nervousness hold me back anymore. Like I push through it. Show up for yourself. Like if that's what you do and you have a passion and you're nervous, like break through it because it pays off. And if you don't break through that fear and nervousness and just do it, you won't get over that little hump you had for yourself.
Oh, this is so good. Okay, it says on your website that almost half of your clients aren't even vegan. So what do you think the attraction is there?
A delicious, tasty product, a delicious, tasty cake, and knowing, one, it's healthier. So when you bake plant-based, you're not using eggs or dairy, and your cake automatically is healthier because you have less calories in the cake. It's just baked a little bit different with different ingredients, but it doesn't change the fact that that's cake.
So with your baking mixes, what do people have to add to the mix?
They just have to add whatever plant-based milk of their choice, either vegan butter or oil. You can use vegetable oil if that's what you like. If you use coconut oil, you got to know that, that can give it a little bit of a taste. But whatever type of oil, and then flavoring of your choice. So it is a versatile mix. If you want to bake vanilla cake, you can. Strawberry, pineapple, lemon, have at it. Any ingredient, any extract you'd like to include, you can do that. Another thing people are baking with our mix is pancakes. And I learned that just from my customers. I was like, oh, okay. And because of them, this became such a versatile mix. It makes fluffy, great pancakes.
Oh, I might need to try that. That's brilliant. I love that hack. Okay, so you moved from South Florida to the Tampa Bay area so that Kalia could attend Solid Rock Community School, which serves all vegan food and emphasizes animal care and other values like that. Okay, tell me a little bit about your involvement with the school, because I saw you on the website too.
Yes. So one of the title I was given is to help create partnerships. I wanted to see how I can bring different brands and brand awareness to Solid Rock. And I do that, honestly, not only just brands with companies, but I tried to spread the word throughout the plant-based community as well. And anybody I really interact, because everybody wants to know, why'd you move here? And what are you doing? And stuff like that. So I try to create partnerships for the school because they're a hidden gem and not many people are aware this amazing school exists. Not just that it is plant-based, but the fact of the values that this school teaches. It's phenomenal. It's value-based, teaching compassion for earth, for people. The type of students that I see there and the community that they have within themselves in that school, the culture they create in that school, you can't find anywhere else.
That's for sure. Now, when Kalia came in, I mean, she was so well-spoken, and I will admit, I was thinking, oh, her parents must be really like pushing this whole vegan thing on her, but it sounds like it's the opposite. Do you have advice for parents or anyone looking to lean in a plant-based direction without kind of beating people over the head or making them feel guilty? Because that doesn't seem to work too well.
No, and I have to say right now that everyone has their way in speaking and sharing about veganism. I have to say I am not one of them that would strangle you like this if I see you. I try to live by example. And I also love conversating and sharing. Like when someone asks me, hey, what can I do? I am open book. I'll tell you all that you can do. But this is a lifestyle. It is not a diet. It's not, I'm going to try this and stop. If you want to gradually transition into a vegan lifestyle, then transition one product out of your diet. Start with the next product So for instance, find one plant-based milk. Switch that out of your diet. After that, then let's look at the cheese. I think the cheese is always the most difficult.
Cheese is tough.
It's the hardest thing. I love Violife. Violife is a brand that I love. Publix is phenomenal in the sense where you get these BOGO deals, right? And when there's a deal, you just buy a little extra, right?
And when there's a deal, that's also a great time to try something new, a new product.
Absolutely. I actually try new products. Sometimes brands sends us products and I'm so happy to try it because then I can say, hey, this is out. This is a new one. Good Planet Cheese had sent us and I love Good Planet Cheese as well. And if they hadn't sent us, I probably would have hesitated to go out and just buy it sometimes, right? Because you don't know what it's going to taste like. So yes, switch one product out. Look for the deals and the sales and try different products. It's another great way. And as you do that, it's going to become part of your life. It's not just, I'm going to try this and then I'm going back to eating next week.
Sure. And it does seem like in a lot of families, kids are leading this change because maybe they saw something on Instagram or what their friends were eating. And so they can kind of push you to try new things.
I think also it's bringing the compassion back, right? Especially with kids. You've probably seen some videos where kids would they can make that connection where, well, if I'm not going to eat my dog, then why am I eating this, Why am I eating the pig or why am I eating the cow? And if you see a difference, then you're seeing a difference. But if you take a look, there's no difference. Somebody wants a pet pig. Somebody wants a pet dog. There's no difference. You're seeing and making that division.
That's such a good point.
So I feel like kids now are seeing this in that sense, in that light, where they just love animals, so they don't want to partake of it.
Sure. All right, so bringing it back around, you've made all these swaps. You're now vegan. What does a typical breakfast, lunch, and dinner look like these days?
So for breakfast, I will say I do intermediate fasting for the most part.
There is no breakfast?
When I do breakfast, it's a very late one. I would do either oatmeal or sometimes lately I've been doing Dave's Kill Bread, their bagel, which is a very organic and healthy. So sometimes I do that with the Violife cream cheese. Amazing. You guys should try it also.
I might go get that right now.
The bagel's very clean, so it's all organic products. And I love their cinnamon raisin, some nice toasted one. So with some Violife cream cheese, that would be a typical breakfast. Lunch, I do pride myself in taking care of my family and cooking, so I do the cooking. Lunch, sometimes it's stewed lentils and rice, or I make traditional Trinidadian food, as well as American food. So we have a mix of both. Dinner is very light for us, either a good salad, depending on what we eat for lunch. I might cook a traditional Trinidadian meal. Like if we do have roti and stewed red kidney beans, or Kalia loves a traditional pumpkin and roti, which is you pretty much melt the pumpkin down and saute it. And so I do have her grow up with her traditional food. It's really important to me to keep the culture going. It's food I grew up on, and I veganized anything that won't be vegan, honestly. And we still eat it. We eat our traditional food.
Oh, wow. Ooh, and it doesn't sound like anyone's suffering. I mean, I think people think, oh, vegan food, I have to sacrifice. I didn't hear any sacrifice happening.
Oh, no, not at all.
Just sounds like
zero.
Delicious food.
Yeah, zero.
So I want to know, when you were Kalia's age, what did you think you would be doing at this point? Because to dream of being a celebrity vegan baker, I bet you did not see that on the radar.
Absolutely not. For the longest time I could think about, from Kalia's age up until high school, I wanted to be a teacher.
Well, you are.
Oh,
I think so.
Aw, that's really nice for you to say that. But anytime somebody would ask me, what do you want to be? What do you want to be? A teacher. I always wanted to be a teacher.
I think you are a teacher in many ways. You're educating us all. Thank you so much for coming all this way. What's next for Pure Vegan Cakes? What's the next celebrity event that you're just going to crash with a beautiful cake?
Oh my gosh, transitioning to Tampa has been a transition. I will, not being in South Florida, not being in Miami where a lot goes on. It's been a transition for me to figure that out. And I'm not sure, but I have a full faith, and we'll see what maybe your podcast is going to bring me my next event, right? I hope that everyone would check out our cake mix, at least help us with spreading the word for that. We'll just see where it goes.
I think it's going to work out great. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Sira Garib is founder and CEO of Pure Vegan Cakes. I know you want to get your hands on some of that cake mix, and you will find the link to her website on our website, thezestpodcast.com. I'm Dalia Colón. I produce The Zest with Andrew Lucas and Alexandria Ebron. The Zest is a production of WUSF, copyright 2025, part of the NPR network.